Hello everybody, it is Ebontis, and I got to level 75 and I've learned even more things along the way than my previous guides may have told you. So this video is going to be more of your advanced tips, smaller minutia, things you might not think about, a little kind of small nuggets of information here and there. Hopefully you learned something from this one as well, so let's jump in. First one's pretty easy. If you ever go into a match and you just need to do something, maybe you need to go to the buried city, you need to find a coffee shop, and you need to investigate a few things in there, or just a random thing. Maybe you and a buddy want to go into duos together, but you're worried about dying, but they have something that they want to give you because, you know, it's some specific item that Scrappy needs, or whatever it may be. When you go in with an augment of any kind except the free one, you're going to have a safe pocket. If you get up to a crazy one, you might have 3 safe pockets. You might have 2 safe pockets. But if you go in with no augment at all, you still have a safe pocket. But if you go in with a free loadout, you will not have a safe pocket. That is one of those things that isn't obvious, but if you ever need to do one of those weird, if you just need to go in naked, per se, and you just want to see if you can accomplish a quest and not risk anything, but maybe you pick up something cool and you can get out of there, if you don't have the free augment on, you will have that safe pocket, and going in naked can help. Again, if your friend has like, hey, my buddy got an anvil blueprint, but they want to give it to me. Well, if I don't want to risk it on duos, guess what? Go in with nothing, basically naked, running with them, have them give it to you, put it straight in your safe pocket, and even if you die 3 seconds later to a rocketeer, guess what? You'll go right back and your safe pocket will work. So that is why it is really, really important to remember, free loadout, no safe pocket. No augment, just go in naked, you still got that safe pocket. So I don't know where you're tucking that thing, but I'll let you decide. When it comes to settings in the game, a lot of them you're going to be up to you. What graphic settings, accessibility, colorblind. It's nice that those features are there, honestly. If you want to change your crosshair, I've seen some people change these things up to be kind of all over the place. So a lot of this is just going to be really up to you. But I will tell you, one that may not be as obvious is night mode. What it will do is it will take the sounds that typically are going to be farther away, and it's going to normalize everything. So it's going to make footsteps that are on the, half the other side of the building louder. Now, it's a little harder to tell when things are closer or farther, so you're going to have to probably tinker a little bit. But if you're in interior structures or something like that, and you want to know that somebody's even remotely coming near you at all, you can turn that on, and you can actually hear things to know that footsteps are around. They could be far or close, so that's where, like, the range is hard to tell, but to know that somebody's around and you got to play more cautious, this can definitely help you out. So test this one, try it both ways. You may like it or you may not, but if you want to kind of amplify some of those quieter sounds to know a little more of the information around you, this can actually make a pretty good difference. So try it out. I highly suggest it. It's one of those you may not leave on all the time, but it can make a difference depending on what's going on in the world, and it may give you too much information at times, but sometimes it's going to give you way more than you had before. So I do recommend a little trial and error, see what you like. All right, let's talk briefly about trials. I do recommend doing these, even if you're a newbie, advanced, you've got all your stuff done, whatever it may be. Unless you have every blueprint, I do recommend doing them, because even just by doing first wave husks, I got like, whatever this is, 1,600 points. I got a blueprint from this one. Now, it's not like the be-all, end-all god weapon blueprint. It's a mod, but it's one of the blueprints I didn't have. And this effort was even on a non-2x run, just because I was going to do a quest with a key and just a very specific thing, and I bumped into a few on the way. It's something that simple where you can get a blueprint. It's kind of one of those pieces of loot every week that you have a chance to get something decent. Take a decent rifle, whether it's a Pharaoh, an anvil, and just get to a perch on a map somewhere you got some high visibility and start shooting at snitches, stuff like that. Whatever the objective is, just spend a little time, get as many points as possible, and guess what? If you're newer to the game, you're probably not going to end up at the very top of the leaderboard, and that's okay. If you can get some of the points on some of these things, you're still going to get a decent amount of loot. Now, when it comes to the leaderboards, there's no guarantee, but this does seem to be kind of true. Until you actually touch one of these things, like, first thing I did this week was I touched a ground-based enemy because there was a pop coming at me towards an extraction point, and I had to shoot it, but I went on about 3 runs without affecting any of these. And until you do one thing in here, you're not actually going to be put in a leaderboard. And the nice thing is, I've got to think the people who jump in Monday morning at like 2 or 3 in the morning my time, versus the people who might start playing on a Tuesday or Wednesday afternoon, you're going to have a little difference in how hard these people go on like the high scores. So if you're trying to get some of these promotions, and you have a way to wait a little bit, you might actually be able to be in a much more reasonable grouping of a leaderboard. And if it's a weekend where you can go hard, that might be a way to take advantage of a little less sweaty of a population in your 100 to be able to bump yourself up. The ranks are truly just cosmetic. Even out here on the far end, all you're really going to be getting is cosmetics and emotes and things like that. It's not the end of the world, but if you're a 100%er, it's just something to consider. But trials, I highly recommend doing them because the rewards you're going to get from any of these packages can be quite good. Especially, like, you never know when a blueprint's going to drop, but you might be getting some Wolfpack grenades, some blueprints, some weapons, whatever it may be. It's probably going to help you. Quick thing, every so often you're going to need some bandages, and the trader is not always going to have them. Like, you can buy 10 every, it might be 24 hours. Some of these are 24-hour resets. I don't know what this one's going to technically fall under, but these are the good bandages. Like, you can buy the junky ones all day. Not that exciting, but the herbal bandages are the way to go. And you need durable cloth and great mulane to create these. So, cloth in and of itself, especially if you have a refiner, durable cloth, not that hard. Get your refiner up to, I think, 2 and it gets you there. Now, it's a lot of fabric to refine, but if you just go on a mission to, like, keep all the fabric that you can for multiple runs, you're probably going to stockpile a decent amount. The Great Mulane is the hard one because you actually have to go find it. And when it comes to finding it, there's been some places I've actually kind of been surprised on how good they are. Buried City. In the Galleria, surprisingly, the interior floors of the Galleria, both like the lower and upper interior floors, not the roof, they're all in kind of the little potters, like the little planters, I guess. I don't know what you call them, basically. But I think I've got out of there with like 26 or almost 30 on one run. If you go to the dam battlegrounds, anywhere that's got a water source, so around the edges of the lake bed, around these islands, you'll find some. And then truly, there's like water draining, I think, down through southwest of like Broken Bridge. There's like a small tunnel, and you'll find a little bit of water there, a little bit of water draining over here, a little bit of water draining over here, and then maybe in the hydroponic area. But you'll find some around water, but it's a little spread out on the dam, so it's not like my best advice. Spaceport surprisingly knocked my socks off recently because the trench. If you go from the west containing yard, go into this lower area and walk through the entire trench looking for Great Mulane, I got to the other side and I had like 42. So if you need to make some bandages, do not sleep on the Spaceport trench by any means. And you'll find a few like fruit in there as well. And guess what? If you don't need the fruit for Scrappy for any reason, sell a stack of fruit for like 6,400 and make yourself a little bit of money too. You'll find a few trees down here in staff parking, but when it comes to Great Mulane, man, this is crazy. If you get first crack at it, you're going to walk out of there with a lot of plants. So the better bandages, the herbal bandages, you need the durable cloth, which you can find the durable cloth on something like the Buried City Hospital. Huge. Like, definitely going to find it in there. In the battlegrounds, for example, you might find some in the testing annex if you can find some of the medical areas. On the spaceport, I know it's one of the quests that takes you, I think, into, say, like, departure building. Go in there and find some of the clinic area. You'll find some durable cloth in some places, but if you just go full scope, like hospital, top to bottom, end to end, you're going to get a decent amount of cloth in there. And of course, while you're looking for all of that, pick up anything else that has fabric and refine it into durable cloth. But yeah, those bandages, depending on every so often you might run out of your stockpile, that's a good way to get some. All right, this one's going to be a little hilarious, but it works. When you crouch, obviously you can increase your crouch speed through skills. One thing they don't tell you, though, you actually back up faster than you walk forward. It is the weirdest thing. So, like, yes, you have to look behind you, so you can't go forward. But depending on what situation you're in, this is noisy. This is actually reasonable speed. And then when you go forward, it's a little more kind of cautious. Now, the same thing seems to apply as if you're carrying something like a Field Depot crate or anything like that. Yeah, you have to look behind you, but if you know you just need to kind of cover the distance and you kind of can walk backwards, walking backwards while carrying something or crouching seems to actually be faster. Weird as it may be, just something to remember if you've got a time where you need to maybe back away from a door slowly. You can actually do it quicker as opposed to walking towards it. Here, the step pace, it's like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And then backwards, 2, 1, 2, 1. It's just a quicker cadence. And that can maybe either help you survive, keep your eye on behind you, but still be able to actually kind of space yourself from your target. Crouching forwards versus backwards, carrying an object, test it out. It's weird, but it is actually faster. Now, when you're running somewhere, your stamina is really important. Obviously, the skills to make your stamina more efficient is something I highly recommend to everybody. But the one thing I do want to mention is as your stamina gets down, try never to let it get too fully gone if you can help it. Sometimes you don't realize, sometimes you do a couple dives and it's just gone. But if your stamina gets down to that point where it's flashing, your options of what you can do change. This is like your slide is almost not there. Your dives are just baby rolls. And then if you get to the point where your stamina is back to that non-flashing status, you have a full dive. So just pay attention to try not let your stamina get to that actual flashing status, because it changes your movements to stuff that is probably not going to help you in that moment anyway. As if you need to like jump out of the way of something. So really watch like how many times you dive. If you get down to like nothing, these dives, I'll get this one, but now this one is just almost useless. So watch the stamina, try not to let it get it fully gone if you can always help it, and that'll kind of keep you as nimble as possible at all times. All right, when you're going to breach something, it can be very limiting, whether it's a door and you're just shoved your face up against it and you really can't see too much. It's the idea that you're locked in for a little while and therefore you're going to be a little exposed. Your best way to do it is when you approach it, come from an angle. Like the farther from the side you can breach something, the better off you're going to be already, because you're going to have visibility kind of in a behind you direction. So if I come from this angle and then I go to actually breach and then I turn my camera, notice how much I can see. Not all things are going to be quite that way. I'll be completely honest, but just be aware of when you're breaching. Don't just like lock up straightforward and then start the breaching process. Your visibility is going to be limited pretty specifically to where you're facing. But if you get to breaching from a side, over from an angle, and it will actually just kind of mess with it where you can take, and then while you're starting the process, try and move your camera a little bit, you're going to be able to see a lot more than you would otherwise, and it's just going to be one of those little survival tips that might let you see something coming, especially like the pops or the fireballs that you might not see coming otherwise, and then you can just kind of bail out, get ready to shoot them, and then go from there. But when it comes to breaching, just be aware of your positioning when you start. Try and do it from as much of an angle. And then when you start the process, try and spin that camera around to get as much behind you as possible so you really open that visibility up. So one thing I did want to call out is PvP is a thing that's going to be in the game the whole time. It's just going to be there. Even as a solo player, some people are going to be a little sweatier. Some people are going to be ultra nice. I had like 5 people extract at the same time, and we hadn't hit the button yet. I was like, hey, there's a Rocketeer. Do you guys want to go take it out? We did. I had a defib. I picked up the one guy who went down. We all extracted together. You're going to have nice moments like that. You're also going to have people who shoot you in the dark, sneak up on you, they're called rats on extraction points right now. People who set traps on all those things, and you can be one of those too. It's all in how you want to play. The game's got the tools. Choose how you use them. Thing is, you can actually have fun with some of those moments. I've seen one to where somebody had a door blocker on a door, and then, while they're breaching, they got behind them and put a barricade kit to box them in this little room. And then they just threw a bunch of blaze grenades in there and just cooked them. So it's like, you can do that. You can drop like 3 remote raider flares, back away from that location a little bit, set off the raider flares like something crazy went on, fire some bullets. And then somebody who's like, oh, well, I can come take advantage of that situation. And then you can actually catch them off guard. So it depends on if you want to play offense or defense, but you can mess with people in a lot of ways, and things like noisemakers. You can do like, do a jolt mine to shock somebody. Part of this is just going to be how you play on offense or defense, and your play style is completely up to you. Just know PvP's out there. If I'm running full speed and I make a bunch of noise and somebody knows where I am and comes shoot me, I kind of blame myself on that one. That's just one of those honest things you got to do. If I crouch walk everywhere and I hear somebody around me, that's one of those things that I know I took advantage of the situation and I have the choice to shoot them or not. Most of the times I don't, but sometimes you just kind of feel like you do. So use all the tools at your disposal, and just remember, playing some mind games with people, it's kind of fun to do sometimes. All right, let's talk weapon upgrades. You can take a weapon that nobody really likes, the base level 1 Rattler. We all know a 10 magazine, fully automatic, medium ammo, got to reload it 2 bullets at a time. It's painful. It is true, really is. Like, if you get this thing, you're like, all right, I am going to try and grab some loot and bail, and I'm out. But if you get this thing up to level 4 with some mods, now I've got 22 in the mag. I've got All of these things working for 30% horizontal recoil reduction, another 15 on horizontal, 15 on vertical, and then I've also got the recoil recovery time, dispersion recovery time. I've got a much, much better feeling weapon, and these are like low-level mods, by the way. But the fact that I've got 22 in the magazine is one of the biggest things. You can actually take a PvP player down with this weapon. So your free loadout Rattler 1's probably not going to do too much, but I wouldn't totally chunk every weapon away that you don't love. Like the Stitcher, if you don't know, it's good for PvP. 20 in the magazine's pretty solid. If you get a magazine in there, you're up to 30, even with a green magazine. But the fact that you can just upgrade it a couple times, faster reload, faster horizontal recoil, and if you take it to level 4, 50% horizontal recoil control, you put a couple mods on this thing, you're going to be doing pretty good for an easy, controllable weapon. And the reload time of those 30 bullets is cut down 50% as well. This is going to feel very different. All of these are. The Arpeggio is another one. Got a level 1, starts out pretty basic. But guess what? A little 3-round burst, you can make that 20% faster. But if you take it all the way to the high end of things, you can make that thing 60% faster in a 50% reload time. That will make this weapon of little burst fire that kind of could be good much, much better in certain situations. So whether it's a volcano that's going to be getting increased rate of fire on a shotgun that's semi-automatic that could save you in a pinch against like a 3v1 or who knows, or it's a sniper rifle that is so painfully slow due to the bolt action, you're just like, I can't stand this weapon. But if I upgrade it, and that bolt action time is going all the way up to 60% faster, now in my little perch where I'm sniping, that 60% reload time lets me do so many more shots. I probably need to bring some more ammo. And the problem is, unfortunately, the higher you get on some of these things, the fact that you can fire them faster. I've burned through my durability on a weapon, on a sniper like this, on a perch working on some trials. I've almost burned through the entire durability in one run. If I was firing faster, you could definitely burn through quite a bit. So upgrades make a huge difference on a lot of weapons. Look and see what they do, and then consider what the math is going to be. And there's probably tables that show what upgrades are. But an anvil as well. Take it for an increased fire rate of up to 50% at level 3, by the way. And then level 4 is even more. The anvil is a 6-shot hand cannon, basically. And then if you take that thing to fire 75% faster, your ability to unload that clip into whatever you need to fire at can be a game changer. So upgrades really do make weapons that are okay to crappy, possibly excellent to amazing. You just got to mess around with them, see what mods you want, stuff like that. But upgrading weapons, if you're just using the base weapons and you're afraid to upgrade them, you're missing out on a huge, vast array of awesome weapons just because they're not upgraded. And if there's like the one sniper rifle you have and you have the blueprint, but you're like, man, I can't stand this thing. Maybe it's the upgrade that's going to make it a lot more manageable and more fun. The Venator fully upgraded was so good, they actually had to nerf the damn thing. But still, even if I got this thing up to 50% fire rate and the reload time was faster, it's still going to feel pretty good because it's not too shabby of a weapon. Biggest thing I can say is upgrade your weapons. They're going to be worth it. And a lot of the time, something like a Berletta, all you need is like light ammo, probably against players. Guess what? If you can drop the clip and reload faster, that might be the thing that saves your butt. You never know. While we're also looking at gear, this is just kind of the consideration of crafting versus repairing. Some stuff, it's very simple. Like if I have a light shield and I can repair this thing, it takes me 4 plastic parts. If I'm going to go to my workshop and I'm going to make one, it is also 2 arc alloy. It's just cheaper to repair. Now, you don't always have the option to repair, because maybe this torrent that I have needs a certain whatever it may be. But if you have the option to repair a hole cracker or craft a new one, like the magnetic accelerators, I have plenty of those stocked up, but if I'm going to repair this thing, we're talking blue parts. There's nothing, like no pink, purple parts involved. So if you can keep stuff and get it out, it's like, you're like, it could be down to 12 and it almost might take 2. It might take like, you know, even more parts than you would think. But just remember, it's kind of one of those things that it's still probably going to be cheaper to repair most of the time. But also remember, you're only going to get 50 durability out of it. So if something's down to like 20, it's only going to repair up to like 70. You might have to repair it twice, and then you kind of got a weight of what's the craft versus the other, what parts do you have, that kind of thing. But overall, if you mess with like upgrades, when you upgrade something, it's typically going to cost more to repair. It's like this level 1 is going to cost 2 and 2. Level 2 is now going to cost 3 and 3. Level 4, That's going to cost a chunk. But what does it cost to craft a bobcat? I don't even know because I don't have the blueprint. But if I did, I bet it's not cheap and it's probably a purple part. And these all tend to be the blues that you can get much more readily, especially if you can take down like some arc. Find yourself like a Leaper Pulse unit, you recycle these things, you're going to get some advanced mechanical components and other things that you can use to repair those. That's why stocking up on that type of stuff can be quite beneficial. So repair when possible, most often. Some low stuff, honestly, like if you're going to come down here and repair like a level 3 Stitcher, it's like maybe, but it's like metal parts and a simple gun part. Sure, that's still not even that bad. More often than I've found, repairing generally is not a bad idea to go for as opposed to recrafting, so save your supplies and, you know, handle your gear accordingly. All right, let's talk about ziplines. Couple things. When you're going up, there's only so much you control. You just go up at the speed you can. When you get off, it's just kind of one of those things. You never know quite what you're going to land into. Traps, a enemy that has just perfect sights on you, whatever it is, you just got to be a little careful. When you go down, you've got the option to basically like skip the early grab and then you fall the whole time. You just got to grab it towards the end. Just don't overfall like I did, but that's the idea. Is if you go up and you can grab the bottom, it means you got to kind of place your fall correctly, but if you do it right, there you go. See, no health damage, and you'll either tuck and roll. You just got to make sure you grab it right near the bottom, maybe last like 5 to 10%, just enough for it to register. Because if you haven't seen, there are people who will fall from the entire top of the control tower, catch one of the wires, and that's a really fast getaway. So it's a nice way to handle what you need. The other thing is the direction you go. This is only one level, but say there's like a mid-level on this one. So you want to decide where you want to go. You're in the middle of a building, you want to go up instead of go down. There's a way to actually do that. The direction you look when you actually go to it is going to determine where you go. So I don't know if it quite works when you're jumping. Not entirely sure. But if you're looking like forward or down, you're going to go down. Very simple. But if you're looking up, you can actually control the fact that you'll actually start ascending when you grab it. And that's really helpful if you do just want to get to the next level. So here, for example, if I look up and I still use the zip line, I'm going to go up. It's nice just to be able to control that. It took me a long time to realize because I swear more often than not I was always going down. Well, if you look up, if you have the option to go up, then you will. Biggest thing is, though, it's like using the fly down can be quieter, but it also can just save you a bunch of time. You just got to make sure you kind of pick your fall correctly, and then you should be good to go. So both learning to fall and grab at the last second. You can also do a similar thing with ladders, by the way. If you want to see that example, if you grab a ladder right towards the end, you'll actually have a nice animation of the fact that you will grab the ladder and almost slide down when you do it. So if you even come at it from an angle, jump, you'll slide down as you go. So it's a way just to kind of manage your falls, manage the control of where you're going, and then I gotta see if this guy's friendly or not. So one thing that can be a game changer is changing your shoulders. Like the one you're peeking from. Like I've got the ability to like look out this door from this direction, and it's like, okay, but if I change shoulders, I've got the ability to peek almost around this whole wall. It's third-person player, but it is one of those things you may forget or not think about occasionally, so use your shoulders, because if I'm here and I'm like, okay, so I can see around here and I can kind of rotate my camera, but then if I switch, I can look way farther around this one and I can actually check corners a lot better. So use the shoulder peek. It actually can help you quite a bit if you switch shoulders, just depending on which side of a doorway you're on or anything like that. Pretty basic, but, you know, one of those things that you might have forgotten. So just a reminder. All right, I want to go over a couple of items just to kind of remind you, refresh you, make sure you're aware of it. Adrenaline shots. I know you know what they do, but don't sleep on these things. Bring some of them with you, especially if you're doing some decent runs and bigger maps, whatever it may be. Now, an adrenaline shot, I will probably never take to Stella Montes because it's a maze, and I don't know how much I could truly just run in a straight line and know where I'm going. But, like, Spaceport is a huge, huge map. And if for whatever reason you're doing some stuff down here, or your quest objective is halfway across the map, being able to just run for a while is huge. But also, you might get, like, caught out of place on Buried City, and then all of a sudden Plaza Rosa is the last extraction point up, and you've got like 4 minutes to make it there. I have made some crazy extractions on, like, say, Damn Battlegrounds to go from way up here all the way down to this one by running through here because I did not stop running. And those adrenaline shots allowed that to happen. So I'm not saying always take them with you because like Stella Mantis is just such a maze of a map that I don't really find a benefit to them. But most of the other ones are big enough and open enough that if you're in that crunch trying to make that final extraction point, these have saved me, so don't sleep on them. Arc power cells. You can get these from so many arc enemies, whether it be just the like fireballs or pips or pops, much less the bigger ones like wasps and other things. If you ever run out of these in a match, the shield rechargers, and your shield actually has some durability left, these can let you recharge your shield, at least that they will do half of a light shield, because they will do, I think it's 40? No, that's 40, so they'll do 20. And then again, it might take 4 of them to fill up a heavy shield, but the fact that you can still refill that shield with something you can find pretty easily in most maps, don't forget about it. It's one of those things that is extremely helpful, and you can find them in the field all the time, because I've run out of these before, and these have saved my butt. Whether it be a snitch scanner, a wasp driver, a hornet driver, and also the leaper pulse unit, I think also has some functionality. Just knowing the fact that you can throw the like drivers and units from the arc enemies and do damage is great, because like the wasp driver works just like these. You can throw a few of them on the ground and they will explode when shot. Same thing with these synthesized fuel canisters. If you throw a few of these on the ground and you bait a big arc near a doorway with these sitting on the ground in front of it, you can damn near kill the thing, if not blow off at least a couple of legs. If you're fighting wasps in a map and you get like 3 of those, they work the same way, and you don't have to try and find this random blue item. It's just a drop of an enemy that takes like a few bullets to take down. The snitch scanner, that will actually call down other arcs, so if you want to troll some people, that's a fun way to do it. But the hornet driver works a very, very, very similar way to the, what is it called? Showstopper. Similar stun duration, a little bit smaller radius, kind of like the jolt mine, but they work too. They will do that kind of stun. Now, they're a little harder to trigger, I will be honest, the hornet drivers, but something ground-based like a Bastion or Bombardier, that can give you that time to stun them, walk around the back, shoot the little yellow canister on the backside. So the arc gear that drops, like the usable arc items, all of them have some really cool functionality. Even the fireballs, by the way, when they drop their fire burners, those work exactly like a blaze grenade. Damn near the exact same damage too. So I highly, highly recommend, when you kill most enemies, a lot of them have stuff that's functional and usable. Use it and have some fun with it, because it's all there sitting waiting, and you don't have to craft a very specific grenade, because half the arc stuff covers some of the grenade stuff. Another thing is truly use your grenades. I'm stocking up the wolf packs for any number of uses that I've potentially got coming, but blaze grenades against leapers, especially if you can wedge them in a tunnel or a doorway to where they kind of stand on them. Blaze grenades are amazing on leapers, but also you can throw them on bastions and bombardiers. Things like that are really good. Your heavy fuse grenades, or something along the lines of a, what am I looking for? It's this like blasting one. This one, the trigger nade that you can throw. The Bastion and Bombardier legs, huge. If you're going to throw grenades, you've also got the option of the Snap Blast grenade. I love these because they stick, so I can just throw them at the body of some of the bigger ones, cause some damage, especially if you know you've got them turned around for a minute. You can use lure grenades to turn them around. That can be a really beneficial thing to like distract. So a lure grenade is definitely going to make a lot of noise, but if you can throw a lure grenade behind, say, a Bastion, you can get him to turn around for a minute. Then you can throw a couple snap blasts on his, back end canister, or trigger nades, either one. You're going to do a lot of damage if not kill him. Now, deadlines are huge. 1,000 damage, radius is 10 meters, so make sure you leave the area or you will get killed as well. But, I mean, these things are a blast, and as you can see, you can buy one a day. Now, 15,000 is not cheap if you're new. But once you get a lot of money, buying one of these a day, you probably should just buy one a day so you've got them stocked up. Every 24 hours in that countdown, stock up as much as you can on some of these things. Finally, smoke. Smoke is one of those that's actually really beneficial, because, say, a Rocketeer or an enemy is trained on you, the arc is going to almost like disengage because they can't see you. They typically don't fire blind unless they're already in the process of firing. But if you're able to throw a smoke grenade and kind of get that target lock unconnected from you, that can really save your butt, give you a second. This thing lasts for 20 seconds. The big one does, much less the little ones are not too bad, but the big ones are huge. So these can help you extract safer. So if you go into, say, like an elevator, you go in there, throw a smoke grenade, nobody's going to be able to pick you off from far away. Maybe throw like 2, and then you can pick either of the control panels to use. You've got options of ways to extract safely. Raider keys, of course, are going to be a way to do that if you've got them, or you can buy them. I mean, you'll eventually get to the point where if you go to security, you can buy one of these. 9,000 for me is nothing. I could buy one of these probably every run and go find enough stuff to sell it off. You find a couple parts from a big, like Bastion, Bombardier, Leaper, Rocketeer, any of those, you're probably going to be able to get enough money for one of these. So use this to extract often if you're feeling unsafe or you got certain tasks you need to do. And another thing, anytime there's a matriarch, guess what? All the hatch keys are active. So if you're worried about trying to extract with like crazy loot like that, if people don't try and take you out when it's there, use a hatch key. So that is a wrap on this video. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like below, say a comment, say hello if you want to. Subscribe to the channel is always a nice way to support. Anything else you guys do is always above and beyond, but appreciated. Made it to 75, done with my expedition, kind of waiting for the next reset, but I've had a lot of fun. I've learned a lot. Hopefully you learned something here too. If you did, share this with friends or whoever else might learn something as well. Thanks everybody. See you in the next one.